Good evening. This is Penelope Flynn, your co-host and moderator of discussions from the OTHERhood. I'm here with the rest of your Blerdsassins Next Door, Cranston, Nikki, Otto, and Sonia. Can y'all hear me? I just
Yeah.
realized something
No,
thing up. Okay, you can hear me now? Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
had my mic
you sounding
hooked up.
funny.
Can you hear me now?
Somebody's
You sounding
chewing
like
again.
robot.
It's not me. I'm not chewing. I can hear that sound. It's got a crazy sound.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting quietly. Oh, you know what it sounds like? Like my voice is coming back through somebody
Yeah.
else's mic. I think that's what it is. Oh no. Okay. But this is me, Penelope Flynn, co-host and moderator of discussions from the OTHERhood. I'm here with Sonia, Nikki, Cranston, and Otto, and we are here to discuss the end. No, not that end, but the ends of films that kind of have cliffhangers and what they would be if they went on for like another 5 minutes. What would that movie have actually ended like? So before we get started with the end, we are going to start as we normally do with the weather. And Cranston, you're up top, right? To
Mhm.
me, um, what's the weather like?
It has been interesting this week. We have had rain every day, and the amount of rain we've had this week has exceeded um, all the rain we've had up until this month, this year. We've
Wow.
had thunderstorms every day. You never know when the bottom is going to fall out. And it's dropped the temperature down to the mid 70s. So
Wow. At least
yeah,
that's
so
nice.
it's been yeah, it has been nice. It has been significant this week. So other than that, other significant and wet this week. So but other than that, it's been okay.
All right, cool. All right, Nikki, how's your weather been?
Our weather's been nice. We were this whole week we were getting afternoon showers though, but it's been nice. It's like 85 degrees now, but it got up to like about 93 earlier today.
Very cool. And you, Sonia, how was your weather? Cool?
It's been actually quite nice. It's hot for up here. It's 82, but now it's down to 72. But
What's
it was a beautiful sunny day. The clouds didn't come back out and peak. Of course, it was my last day house sitting, so I didn't get to enjoy the hot tub. And
Oh
today was
well.
today would have been the only day I got to enjoy it. And
I
because
don't
it's the
know.
last day, I didn't get to.
Oh no. So where are you going now that you're done house sitting?
I'm back at my place now.
Okay. Oh well. So you spent a significant portion of the time you spent house sitting out of town doing the
Chasing three unruly dogs.
oh well. No, at least they had fun.
Yeah, they ate my phone case.
Oh no. Okay. Well, I hope that you get a better phone case, a new phone case, so that they didn't get sick from eating phone cases.
Oh, they don't get sick from eating anything, including chocolate, for some reason.
Hmm. All
Not that I
right.
haven't tried. No, no.
No, no, no. All right. Well, Otto is in and out, so I guess he'll be back in a minute, and he's probably having problems with the internet. But we're talking a little about the end. Films that have these famous, infamous endings that if they lasted 5 minutes longer, what would the ending have been? What do we perceive the ending to have been? Oh, we've got Otto back, and so now I guess he can give us his weather before we get started. Otto, how's the weather?
You guys hear me?
Yes.
The weather was warm.
Okay. Thank you very much for that in-depth report of that warm weather. All right.
Succinct and to the point.
That's right. Short but pointless. Okay. So now we're going to get on with this concept of the end. And actually, this comes from an idea that was put forth by Cranston regarding certain films that have these cliffhangers at the end. and what we think actually happened. So I kind of tweaked it a little to say, if it went on for 5 minutes longer, what would have happened? 5 more minutes of plot in this film. So Cranston, I know you had a few. And I think it's very interesting because I looked at a list that someone had. Half the films I did not recognize or didn't think the ending was, all that uh, much of a cliffhanger, or it had sequels since it was done, so we know what
Mhm.
happened next. So it's kind of difficult to say what would happen at the end this thing, except that we saw what happened next because there was a sequel. But one of the movies that was on the list was District 9. And at the end, we have the main character who is so literally racist. There's a different race, a different species, comes to Earth, and they are, got retained behind a fence, like people would do with setting up migrant camps and things of that ilk to keep them separated from the general population, and how terrible it is for those people. That the mothership is there, and he gets to know one of these aliens, and helps him to get, I guess, back to where he's supposed to be, not because he really wants to. I don't think. I can't remember all of it, but I do remember that by the end of the film, he is turning into one of those aliens.
Mhm.
And so we wonder, because these people, these aliens, we kept in such terrible conditions. What happens, when the guy gets this child, the alien's a child, and they're in the mothership, and they take off? So what happens if it lasted 5 minutes more? What do you think would have happened? I
They
mean,
ate
I don't.
they
Mhm.
ate the dogs and they ate the cats.
Well, actually, they ate the human beings. So yeah, one of those human beings that came there, one of these terrible police type characters, they tore him apart and ate him. So the thing to be were eating the people. But let's say the mothership's up there in the air. 5 minutes later, and within the next 5 minutes, what do you think would have happened? I don't, has everybody seen District 9? Have you seen it,
Mhm.
Cranston?
Yeah.
So I would. What do you think? Because I would have my own ideas of what I think would happen.
Well, I think at some point they had said that they were going to do they had planned it. I don't know if they really planned to do a sequel or they just
Mhm.
decided, well, we're going to do something else to see
Mhm.
what would happen by the time he came back. And
Mhm.
if it's about the hero's arc, and that he would literally be in a place to actually learn something about who he was dealing with and all of that.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think that probably I don't know if he would become he would become so immersed with the visitors that he would become one of them and go against his own people, or would the things expose it to the rest of the world and they would turn against them, or what? So I don't know, but
Or
it would have to do something with him and how his life has changed significantly as a result. And but maybe he would end up going mad, because he would say, "Well, this is my life now. It's not definitely not the life I wanted, but."
Or maybe now that this is his life, he would work a little bit. I'm not going to say work more because he never worked for it, but maybe he would work for better treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Demand better treatment of those who had to live behind that fence.
Mm-hmm.
Or since he was now half human, then half also visitor, what would that be like? Would he be an outcast from both sides? I don't know. Would he be somebody that has nowhere to go? Also, I think this had happened to other people before it happened to him. Would he be
Mm-hmm.
able to find those other people that this had happened to? And would he be able to, along with them, be that middle ground to help, human beings to understand what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe this aid him. I don't know. That could happen as well. I don't know. So that's, but I think that is in that film. I think I would like to have known in the next 5 minutes what would happen. Did the mothership just open fire, and just blast everybody? Could they do that? Were they interested? the guy in the mothership along with his child, were they even interested with just getting the mothership? And say, I don't know what happened to all those people that was down there before. Shrug, shrug. I don't
Or
know.
even better than that, if all of a sudden that's when the invasion fleet came back, so they did what? Because the other
Yeah.
thing is, I think we don't know what happened to the people that stranded them there, because
Yes. Was it
so
intentional? Was it
yeah,
not?
or would they come and say, okay, we were wondering where you guys were and
Yeah. What the
stuff,
heck? And we waited Burger King for like 2 hours,
hmm
and y'all didn't show up. What the heck?
Well, that's when they come back and they yell out, "It's a cookbook," So
Yeah. Yeah. So I would like to know that that is a film that I think that we were due. Excuse me, a different. I don't know more, or I would like to have had a different, more definitive ending other than just looking up, watching the mothership take off. You know,
hmm
and also I wondered, okay, the mothership is taking off, correct?
hmm
But there's a whole lot of aliens down there on the ground.
yeah.
So how come they didn't take anybody else?
I'm guessing. Well, and this is one of those things where you don't say you hope that you're not finishing the story for them, but
Yeah.
I think it was there were not everybody there was technologically adept to even fix the ship, and it
Hmm.
could be that whatever they were coming from was so bad, as bad as things were down on Earth, it was better than what they were escaping from. So they were,
So how come he escaped with
with
this kid? He seemed to be pretty good about wanting to escape.
Well, I think he was one of the group that either that he might be like middle management, where he was, really a company person and
Hmm.
wanted to go back and said, okay, I'm going to come back and give my report, or he really, and that was his agenda the whole time. So.
Hmm. Yeah, but he shouldn't take anybody else with him. That's for sure.
Well, it could have been the rest of them are glad to see him go. So, yeah, okay, I never did like him anyway. So.
Yeah, or it could be that they are like the ones that, like that guy, who were actually changing into those
hmm
things. Who's to say whether any of the originals were left behind?
Yeah.
We don't even know that. So I think that I would like to have seen a little bit more of what happens in the District 9 universe. So that's
hmm
one.
Yeah. And the good thing I thought about it was that for once it wasn't something that happened in Los Angeles or Washington and New York, or since there's a number of these things that happen in Britain and stuff that happen someplace you don't normally see.
Yeah, because it was in South Africa. So yeah, it was very interesting. Also because, at the end you see this everybody, seeing the mothership take off and this wholly predominantly black population, you
hmm
know, down there looking up, watching, taking the pictures and stuff of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting.
And it was
Even
also
though these cops and stuff, all the cops I saw for the most part were Anglo.
Well, that was the thing about the big thing was, of course, like if an advanced civilization like the Sante or something like that decided to come here,
Hmm.
that would make all of the people here would band together because we would have a common enemy. But the
Right?
thing is that it just showed that when we did have a common enemy, we just became all had being buttholes in common as a result of
Yeah.
that. So yeah,
Yeah.
not quite the
Yeah. Well,
not quite the
heroic. Yeah.
yeah,
Experience that we thought we would be.
yeah.
Right. Right. Now, another film actually, that is on this list, of course, it's on everyone's list probably, and that's Inception, where you have the spinning top totem kind of spinning, 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 spinning. Does it fall? Is he there? Is he not? And I got to tell you, I thought Inception was a very interesting film, um, especially since if you think about it, if you watch Futurama, that they
hmm
kind of had that same thing where they live a complete and total life, an entire lifetime in a place, and then go back to their regular life after they've lived an entire lifetime somewhere else, which I thought, in a different level. So I thought that was very interesting.
Hmm.
And like in Futurama where Leela and Fry, you know, time stops and they're the only ones who are walking the earth doing the time that time has stopped. And they go and they do all these things and cleaning up, fixing stuff up, while everyone else is stopped in time. So it wasn't exactly the same type of thing, but again, that concept of being with someone where you both know that you're living outside of, the time frame that everyone else is in. Also, what's the other thing? The multiverse films, the recent ones with the Flash and April, the animated one, where again they are living in the time where everything else around them is frozen, and they are living their lives while everything else around them is moving extremely slowly or not at all, and living their entire lifetime out while everyone else is pretty much frozen. So I thought that was interesting. So the crisis, crisis, first crisis, infinite
Hmm.
crisis films. I don't know. Did you see anybody see the Infinite Crisis
Yeah,
movie?
yeah. The interesting thing I thought was about, and this is one of the things that Nolan does in a lot of his, like Memento, was one where you didn't, when you found out, well, is which one is the crazy one here, or what's going on, or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But I think when his mentor tells him that, I can't think of Elliot Page's, her character's name, but said that she is even better at this than you are, and you were the best. And
Hmm.
so, is it that they said if you look at the way things ended, and that's why you're not supposed to let anybody know what your totem is that she knew that he was just burned out from this, and she was creating a world for him to live in, and nothing that happened in the end was really in the top level of the dream, that he had been just given a sort of okay, you're retired now, we're going to let you have your happy ending and everything.
But you think if he'd had
'Cause
a happy ending, wouldn't his wife have still been alive instead of him accepting the fact of her death?
well, I think it could have been that it's kind of one of those things where she was so out of it until he was kind of saying, well, this is cheaper than a divorce. So, and that was because he never envisioned the family getting back together, just him and the children.
Right, right. This is true. Okay. So if you had had the last 5 minutes of Inception, would you have wanted him to walk in and the kids, to see him, or him to see the kids and they recognize him? Do you think that that would have been a better ending than the top just
And I
spinning
think,
or the top falling?
I think I think the ending would have been that that he's having a reunion with the kids, and then the camera pulls back and you see the top is lying on his side, or you see a hand coming in
Yeah,
spinning again, so he won't know the
yeah,
difference.
yeah. I think that would be good. That if the top continues to spin and you're in that world, top stops, then it's reality.
Hmm.
So I think that would be cool. I think it'd be funny how one of the kids just come and grab it and run off with it, grab it off the table and run off with it. Huh? Yeah, yeah. It stops spinning.
But there's a similar one. I don't know if that one was on the list. Was Minority Report on the list?
It was not on the list, but I'm going to tell you, I thought that the Minority Report and what's the other thing? Oh shoot, what is it called? It was Jude Law and Forrest Whitaker
Oh yeah,
and the Repo Man.
Repo Man. Yeah.
Right, that ending, where he's actually, in
Hmm.
that, state. I thought that would have been a better ending actually for Minority Report
Hmm.
if they put him in and just left him there, and he would have been able to live out his eternity or sentence, believing that he was still with his son, you
Hmm.
know. And I thought that that would have been a better ending. in Minority instead of you know the three prophets, whatever they were called, coming out of the water. I mean, which they should have because it's like prison, making them
Hmm.
have to do that. But that they got to leave and live their lives, and that he and his wife basically had to accept the reality of what it was that had happened to their child and try to move on. And I mean, he
Yeah,
lived a life, constant pain from that and guilt.
yeah. Well, that was the fun thing. The funny thing was, of course, that you never found out what happened to the child. Was he kidnapped? Was he sold over
Hmm.
into a what you call a factory overseas somewhere or
Hmm.
something like that or whatever? Um,
Did a crazy person take him or something like that? I
yeah.
remember there's
Well,
this film where I don't know, it was a real film, and I know it was on television. I saw it on television with Judd Hirsch, and he's a cop, and this little boy is missing, and they are trying to find the little boy. Just he was outside or something, and then he was on his way from school. Whatever happened, and he was missing,
mm-hmm,
and they were trying to find him. They know he's kidnapped. Whatever they accused the guy who was the handyman or whatever he was at their house because had cut himself at the house and had an old pair of child's underwear and he wrapped it around his hand, this old pair sitting around.
mm-hmm,
And they accused him because that he was gay, so accused him of having done it. But he just was there all the time, working, knew the child. It was just everybody they pointed at until they got tired. It became a cold case, and
mm-hmm,
then this the cop, the Judd Hirsch character, gets the phone call with a woman saying, "This little boy, he's here. I keep telling you, he's over here, and nobody comes to get him. He's out here in the front yard. He stays here in this backyard, stays here all the time. And the guy goes to work, and he stays here all the time. Blah blah blah." And they said, "Yeah, but this lady's crazy because she has tea with Jesus and stuff. One of
mm-hmm,
the old black women, and she." So he just says, "You know what?" He gets his son, the cop. It's weekend, so let's just go. Outside chance, we're gonna drive out there. So the drive out there, the boy's standing out there in the yard because the guy had to work these long hours,
mm-hmm,
but his mother had to be taken care of, and he had no one to take care of her. So he stole this kid, like an 8, 10 year old, to be able to take care of his mother during the day. And so you think when people steal children, they steal for all these other weird things. This guy had to have a caregiver for his mom. So he kidnapped
mm-hmm,
this child to be a caregiver. And of course, cops had to come get him, but of course they took the little boy and, you know, took him back home. Of course, when he was coming home, his mom, just basically given up. And so now they had like this huge police escorting him
mm-hmm,
back home. So they go from because it was in a different state. I think he was one state, and then come go one state, and then those state police go off, and the next state police come and get they line up and they bring him in. So it was
mm-hmm,
really cute. But again, like that film, I always like to think in my mind because that's the kind of person I am that somebody stole him, to make him clean the house or take care of an elderly person or something who treated him well or something. That's what I would like to believe. That's my
mm-hmm,
thought about what happens at the end of the film, and maybe one day as an adult, you know, he comes back. But I don't think he does because what is it, Agatha? She didn't hold out much, hope that anything good happened the way she
mm-hmm,
was talking, you know. But she never said that he died. She just, was very non-committal about what happened to him.
yeah. So, well, I didn't lie. I didn't say he was dead.
Yeah. Who am I,
I just
Mrs.
said I
Lovett?
knew where it
I'm
was. Yeah.
Mrs. Lovett. Never died.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say died, never
Yeah.
died. I never said
Mm-hmm.
died. Okay. Yeah, but I think, yeah, I think for him that would have been a better happy ending. But I guess the ending where you tell people to accept reality, that that is the better ending. That he has to accept reality and move on because
Yeah.
he
But
was.
But it violates the ultimate thing we always say, yeah, but it will work out in the end if you don't give up hope and, believe and that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah, but the point is, so I think that don't give up hope and believe. We want to believe all the time that there's a happy ending, and it
Mm-hmm.
may not be the happiest ending, but
Mm-hmm.
part of accepting the truth and being able to forgive, and it's Otto often says, grace, to be able to bestow grace, and that's the important thing,
Mm-hmm.
that is, we live in a life where the father, a thing happened, someone did a terrible thing. He was playing with his child. He wasn't doing anything wrong, but yet he has this insurmountable guilt, you know, and that he cannot get out from under. So much so that he is constantly in an addled, drugged state in order to keep himself believing that he is being able to spend time with this beloved child. So I thought that the concept at the end to accept the horror that's happened and to be able to move on with his wife, to again, bestow grace on her husband, that this thing has happened to, that through no fault of his own, because he didn't do anything wrong. So I think I would have liked, I would like number one to see the child come back, will come walk back in one day, but
Mm-hmm.
here's this kid, walks in, you know, after they're old, looks like them, after all these years, they're out of their cabin and he comes and sits, or maybe even if they're, I don't know. I think I would have liked to have seen that, but I know that's not the story. That's what I would like. 5 more minutes. That's what I would have taken. That.
Yeah. Just flash forward and stuff. But 15 years later.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And I know Sonia would ask you, did you have any films like that on your list that at the ending you said 5 more minutes? This is what I wanted to have to happen in 5 more minutes. Oh, you're still muted a little bit.
Mm.
I was
You're
gonna
muted.
say, other than the ones that I would have walked out of and go, just give me my money back, because sometimes you're so pissed.
Yeah.
I can't think of any right now. I remember at the time when I was watching Infinity War, Marvel's Infinity War, I was like, no, 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 you're gonna come back and you're gonna show us it was just it was an illusion or something, or Doctor.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you muted again. You got muted. But touch. Ah, there you go. Hmm. Oh, I cannot hear your. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so you were in and out. It looks like we should hear you now, but before it looked like you're muted. But I have to say the one that all right, that sounds like taking a shower, singing in the shower.
I
Yeah, it
hear
sounds like
that.
the
There we
shower is on.
go.
Okay,
There we
yeah, I hear you
go.
now. Okay.
My mic keeps dropping out. Sorry.
Okay,
No,
yeah, we
I
hear
was
you
going to
now.
say when in Marvel Infinity War, I saw it with a predominantly black audience. So when Black Panther died, everybody's horror was like, "No, this is Doctor Strange doing," and it wasn't.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
yeah, and then I saw it again with a different audience. They were still outraged, but they didn't blame everything on Doctor Strange.
Yeah, okay, all right, okay. Why
But
did they
no, I
pick Doctor
can't think.
Strange for some reason? Why was he the
Because
culprit?
he's the magician. He was known for doing things at the last minute or whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
because he wasn't there, it was the easy person
yeah,
to
yeah. I
blame.
guess well, because I think what is it? Well, the Wanda and the Vision, they both,
Yeah, they both went. Well,
yeah, they both
Vision
went.
died,
And Wanda,
and
which I
Wanda
don't get.
sat. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, that could have
that's
been them.
yeah.
So I got it. I think if you had had 5 more minutes, but you couldn't fix that because they had already a sequel. That's the things with sequels
Yeah,
kind of
that's the
mess it
problem.
up.
Right.
Yeah, they mess it up for us.
And
But I
movies that you expect would have a sequels, they don't. So by the time you realize they're not having a sequel, you forget what the cliffhanger was.
right, 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 right,
It's
exactly.
supposed to have a sequel, like I'm sure there's a lot of in Spiderverse. Everybody said it ended in a cliffhanger. Well, that's because it was supposed to have a sequel, and right now we have no idea what's going on with the sequel.
Yeah, they need to work on that. I thought the Spider Verse one, the second one, I think I feel like, do you all even know what you're doing? I mean, since they still have just like a host of chase scenes, it's like, come on, you all, come on,
Well,
you know.
it was supposed to all be resolved in the next movie, but for
Well, you know
whatever
what?
reason, the
That's
next
what
movie got delayed.
that's what I thought
So
about
now I
Matrix
gotta go.
Reloaded.
Yeah, I gotta watch it all over again.
That's what I thought about Matrix Reloaded. I said, certainly everything's going to be resolved for the next film. Certainly.
Is it?
And,
Yeah,
and then it's like the third film comes out. It's like, okay, I don't know. I'm
no,
not getting it. I just no.
no. Yeah.
So
By
we
the
never
time,
know. Some hope. It was cross our fingers that
yeah.
Mm.
that they come out with.
Um, I was gonna say the one that really confused me was Total Recall. Was it real?
You
Was
know,
it not? Was it real? Was it not?
I
And I was
swear to
just
you,
reading an article when we were researching for the topic. It's like, oh, they already answered that. It was a Schrodinger life. So it was both real and not real.
well, I tell you, when
But
I saw Total Recall, the end of it, I thought that there was like for a brief second, like a static thing.
uh-huh.
Hmm.
Didn't you too? But when I saw it later, I didn't see it. So I don't know if they took it out of the television version, but had it in the film version because I saw it in the theater.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the last one, like if the anniversary edition was supposed to
Mm,
be like the definitive
mm-hmm.
story or whatever, because that was the the ending of Blade Runner. Is Blade Runner on the list?
No, it was
It
not.
should be.
I did.
Yeah,
It was not on
Yeah,
my list.
yeah.
They put it. Yeah.
because the scene where Deckard and Rachel are in at his place,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this scene where they're standing at the window, and it was just an after effect from the lighting on the set, and it wasn't anything that said that Deckard was really a replicant, but there's
But
the
boy, people would take the ball and run with it, right?
yeah, so that's it, and when 2049 came out, there was somebody they were interviewing Harrison Ford and Ridley Scott at the same time, and they both had different opinions about whether or not Deckard was a replicant or not. So
Really? How interesting. Well, who thought he was and who thought he wasn't?
you will fall the way you thought it was. That Ford thought that no, Deckard was not a replicant, and Ridley Scott said, "Oh, yes, he was a replicant." So.
Cool. All right. That's good. I like that. I really like that. So, do you think at the end of Blade Runner, I mean the original Blade Runner,
Mm.
that 5 more minutes, if you could have added something to make it definitive, what would you have added?
Because I think if you get the 30th anniversary version where they had five different versions of the movie, including the
Hmm.
Ridley Scott's definitive version or whatever and stuff, there's one thing that if you think about it, that
Hmm.
there's the only explanation for it is when Gaff, Edward James Olmos' character kept making all those little origami.
Right, right,
And when he finally came back to get Rachel to get her out, he steps on something and it's the unicorn.
right,
So
right.
the question is, well, how would he know about the unicorn unless Deckard was a replicant? And he knew that he'd been programmed with that. And there was all the other stuff that Deckard did that was just like the other replicants. And what he told Rachel, he had the all of those photographs of people you don't know who they were all over his place and everything. And he it was a memory from one of Tyrell's nephews
Nieces.
somewhere that he probably gave him too. So,
That's kind of interesting, though. And the issue is, though, does it matter?
well, yeah. Well, the thing is, it would be for it kind of goes in with what happened with and I can't think of the name of the guy in the sequel, but that when everybody thought they were the kid, and then you find
Yes.
out that it wasn't, and he's so disappointed now that he's not.
Yeah, he thought he was the one, but no, it's a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, it was. So I thought it was interesting too. He was so sure, you know, that it was going to be him, and that oh, wow, I have this storied a mythological
Hmm.
past, a thing of legend, but no, it's not you.
That's the thing. Yeah, and it's the ultimate, I guess, existential crisis. And I guess we all want to think that we're special or something like that, and
Hmm.
everything, and it makes sense. And then you find out, well, no, you're not. You're
Yeah,
just
you're just you.
yeah.
You're just normal you, and everything's cool. So yeah, I get it. So I think in the original, if they had, driven off into the sunset, and as they're no, never mind, and talking, like she's married to Tyrell's niece, and he has married to
Hmm.
Tyrell's nephew. Hey, what about Uncle Barney? Yeah, I had an Uncle Barney
Yeah.
too. I don't
Uh-oh.
know what is it, and the other ending. I think also who has something like that. Television shows, two television shows that had that kind of ending. One was Grimm, and the other was Being Human, the British version. I don't know how it ended with the American version. With the British version, when they had, I don't know if have you all everybody's seen Being Human.
It's been too long.
I'm not gonna. I
It's
mean, if you have not seen Being Human, the British version, I will not spoil that uh exquisite piece of television for you. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And if you have not seen it, I will not spoil it for you. So
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
Hmm.
now, having seen the American version and the British version, would you say which one do you think is the more, I guess, mature? Do you
British
think that
version,
I think
British version
there was.
is far superior.
Mhm.
Far superior. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not gonna say who the character is who died in the show. My daughter and I were boohoo crying. I mean, we were so invested. So we just were boohoo crying. It was
Mhm.
so, so sad. Uh, I mean, just it's sad. It's sad, but also because all this love, so much love, and just, just so sad.
Well, would you go along with this? There was a an American who was now a self-described expatriate that said that she loves living in Britain, but she said she would notice the difference between Americans and Brits are that Brits look at death as an inevitability, and Americans look at it as an option.
Yeah, yeah, the constant avoidance of it, which
Mhm.
really is the thing I think when I see a lot of like Asian dramas, especially Japanese, who really accept, okay, somebody died and that's it. It's just death and that's it. Terrible things happen, terrible
Mhm.
bad things happened, or the thing we expected has happened. Like it is with us, death, like I said, is an abnormality, which is
Mhm.
kind of weird. And a lot of other civilizations, it is okay. This is a thing that's going to happen, so
Mhm.
we should be preparing for it. We should have ritual. We should have all these things that help us to understand and deal with this thing that for us is a loss, but for that person, maybe something else.
Mhm.
Maybe, nothing, but it may be something else. But to deal with the inevitability of it so that it doesn't, come as a shock to us when people do die because that's what's going to happen. except people who now want to become one with the what does it call it? Who's the guy says he wants to become
Oh, singularity.
singular one with the singularity? I don't understand why someone would want to live forever. I mean, because to live forever in that sense to me is why bother? You know, it then nothing then has priority, nothing has any urgency. So each moment is really nothing. You know, our whole
Hmm.
lives, the fact that we have to prioritize and sacrifice because our time is limited. We have to make decisions about what we shall do, when we should do it. And if you had all time, maybe you would do absolutely nothing because
Well, you
there's no
you
urgency.
might you might, but the question would always be, would it really be you? Because I mean, if you had something that was your clone or your AI downloaded, whatever it is, it would have all of your memories, all your reactions. It
Hmm.
would do things that you would do, but it doesn't answer the
It would be
question
you.
of, is it you? Yeah.
Yeah, what is the film that they do that in? Uh, it's the one with Christian Bale and then the two magicians, and the one
Oh,
magician's
the
trying to
prestige.
figure the prestige. One is figuring
Prestige.
out,
Yeah.
yeah, one's trying to figure out the trick, and the other one is just killing versions of himself over and over again.
Hmm.
And that's how he does it. He's like creating versions of himself and just killing them. It's like, yeah, but
Yeah.
that version drowned and they're dead. And
Hmm.
that person has a different life than you because they drowned and you
Yeah.
didn't, you
Well, that was
know?
the one thing that was a kind of that he was like. I think it goes back to the line Michael Keane here in the beginning said, just depends on how many birds you don't mind killing
Yeah,
to
yeah. So then we find
keep it
out.
going.
Yeah,
So yeah. And so as long as you know that you are the real one, because yeah, I just killed the one that just showed up, but
right.
so you know who you are, but then if you slip up along the way there and stuff, you're gonna go, well, wait a minute, so
But I think that that person is drowning. They don't see themselves as you. They see themselves drowning.
yeah, but they won't see you as for long. I mean, so wait a minute, wait,
Yeah.
okay,
But they know
next,
that's going to happen because you've been doing it all along. So the
yeah,
thing is the person that's in the the vat, the vial, whatever you want to call it,
hmm
cylinder, the box, whatever it is, do they know or do they think that they're the one who's living and that the other person is going to be the one that dies? I think
yeah.
otherwise they wouldn't do it, would they?
No, I think unless he said, okay, this lock. Wait a minute, this lock doesn't work. So yeah. But the
That's
thing is, you
crazy.
never you never think it's going to be you. That's what it
Right.
finally comes down to and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, that was a crazy film.
Hmm.
I thought, wow, all underneath this thing, all these bodies. Like, what a maniac! Just
Hmm.
to do a magic trick?
Yeah.
What
Well,
a
I
heck?
guess it's that what you want to do to be immortal and stuff. One way or the other. So.
I know, but my question is, where are you getting the matter from? You know?
Um, I think it was. I think that was Tesla's doing it. Somehow he figured
Yes,
out
it's a Tesla.
you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
you could infinitely do that, and it's sort of about the thing about what would your moral responsibility be if you could do that. If you had all these expendable
Hmm.
people, and you knew that you
Wow,
could literally, do that
that was crazy.
just for the sake of saying, like I did the best trick of all, that these people were that obsessed with being
Hmm.
remembered, that they
Yeah,
didn't care about what effect it would have on
I
other people.
yeah, but you say this isn't magic; it's science.
Hmm.
That's So you lose because you use science instead of magic.
Yes, and hey, and we can make another one. So
Yeah, that's science, not magic.
hmm it's
So
not really murder; it's replacement.
right, crazy though, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I would have ended that differently. I don't know. I think the prestige. I think I say you are a mass murderer, even though you're only murdering yourself. Go to
hmm
prison.
Yeah.
Go to prison, you maniac. I don't know. I don't know. So I just we kind of going back and forth, me and you. Is
Mhm.
anything that you can think of another one that you would have 5 more minutes and you would have taken their cliffhanger, their um, ending that was less than sure, less than concrete, and to create something that was more definitive. That at the end we could have that either that feel good movie, or we say, "Oh my God, that really stunk," but we
hmm
would know. What would you change? Which one would you change?
It would have, well, it would have been the question of, and I think it was Judy Collins did a song called Dorothy, and it was about the Wizard of Oz, where the Dorothy gets back home and everything, but then when
Hmm.
she grows up, she always thinks that maybe I shouldn't have come back because it was a lot better than this, living on this farm in Kansas,
Yeah,
what it
yeah.
cracked up to be.
But she missed her Aunt EM, and she missed her uncle and her life that she had there. And there's no place
She
like home.
does, but then she realizes that she was getting back to a life that she was going to outgrow anyway,
Yeah, but
and
she didn't know that at the time.
so,
Maybe she'd
yeah,
taken.
so
I wonder if when Dorothy went to Oz, if she had gone with her aunt and uncle, would she have come back? That mean
mm,
everybody, if her aunt and uncle were there, then everybody she cared about would have been there with her.
yeah. Well, I guess it's sort of like it would be a real life version of those people who are nostalgic for the good old days that never really existed. That you figured it was going to be, you would still look back and say, I miss the smell of wheat, and I miss,
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
this
yeah.
other stuff,
I missed
and
all that physical labor that
yeah,
I was doing at that farm and putting up with the revenuers and people come and just take my dog without my permission, just
hmm
get a what you call it, something from the sheriff saying come get my dog.
yeah.
No due
So,
process or anything, just come do it.
so yeah, I miss that and stuff, So okay, yeah.
So I wonder also, in The Wizard of Oz, when she is flying around in the house and she sees Elmira Gulch
hmm
on the bicycle, and then she turns into the witch, and then the house falls on her, the witch, the other witch. I don't know if
hmm
it's the same one, but and she dies, in Oz. Did Elmira Gulch die in real life?
Uh, yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah. And yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
I wonder, when she
But
comes back and there's no place like home, because maybe, the person who's going to take her dog, um, you know, didn't survive the twister.
Yeah, but that's the other thing about now that they're back and everything. That means was she going to give up trying to get rid of the dog, or is that that's on her to do list for the next day?
Yeah, or maybe Elmira Gulch, because she saw her when she was up in the house floating around in in her dream state, you know, maybe she saw her, which is kind of cool when you think about it. That Dorothy was in her house, when it
hmm
flew away. Everything around her was doing whatever, but she was pretty much contained within her house, which didn't flip over or anything, just kind of floated, within the twister, within the tornado, cyclone, whatever you want to call it.
hmm That'd be the ultimate mashup. It would be Twisters and Wizard of Oz and everything, where they're out chasing and say, wait a minute, where's that little girl? Where'd she go? So,
Okay, my last 5 minutes. There's no place like home. Oh wow, terrible Elmira Gulch. Was swept up in that twister. Nobody knows what happened to her. So, I guess, you know, you won't have to do anything with Toto. He'll be fine.
yeah, or,
Yeah, this wrap it up. Wrap it up. Elmira Gulch is no more.
or she'll end up trying to drown her and stuff, So, wait, I keep throwing water on her and she's still
Yeah,
here.
nothing happens. Dang it. Yeesh. I need another playbook. This one certainly isn't working.
Killing
But
with
but
kindness.
but Tuttle
Yeah,
bit her, didn't he?
Toto. Yeah, she said he bit her. He said just a little bite, a little snip, because
Yeah,
he came after a cat. I don't know what that. She said he bit her, so she took it to be destroyed. I thought, my
yeah.
God, what a horrible
Or
woman.
we find out that Toto was rabid and that's what got rid of her and stuff. So, so one
Ah,
way or the
that's
other.
thank you. That's another good one. Thank you, Cranston. The little dog was rabid.
hmm We said, oh, no, well, if you don't like Toto, maybe you like Cujo.
Cujo, yeah, here you go. It's Cujo. No Toto. Now we got Cujo.
Or it could be that since the wizard came back to Kansas too, maybe he and Elmira switched. And the Wicked Witch is still there. There's another sister that looks just like her.
There we go. There we go.
And now
Find her out
she's the
somewhere.
wizard.
Yeah. Ah,
Yeah, it's not
that would
it's
be
not like
good.
the wizard was going to some wonderful place. I mean, he was going to Kansas.
Yeah. So there you go. Unfortunately, they probably see him coming out of the sky, and he's been gone for a while. Where have you been? What have you been up to?
hmm
It's a balloon.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Where you been though? You've been gone for a while, haven't you? Because he flew
Nobody
away
Yeah.
from the
cared.
state, bro.
Nobody cared.
So
Okay.
we have
All
a
right.
warrant for you, Wizard.
Yeah. Exactly. They said that you bought you rented this balloon. It wasn't your own personal balloon, and now you owe. Pay up. You've been gone for several months. And we're in the middle of the depression, so pony up
But
that
also,
cash.
That would have been
well,
interesting.
also the
That
Wizard was.
go ahead, Cranston.
No, no, go ahead. I was going to just say, well, Wizard is kind of was kind of a felon if you think about it. He was swindling people.
Okay, well, he was trying to make people feel better.
That he put
Oh,
a hit out on the witch. So
He did. Did that he did.
No,
Yes.
he sent them on a suicide mission, basically. So
That basically, he didn't think they'd be able to
he
do
didn't,
it.
he
Yeah.
didn't, he didn't think that
So
Wizard was
either
going to
way,
get
either
killed.
way, it's gonna
Yeah,
work out for him, right?
right.
I was gonna say, wouldn't it have been interesting if there was a time dilation like that? The few months or whatever that the weeks that she spent in Oz felt like moments to her. Maybe his was just like, oh, you've only been gone for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean you've lived a lifetime in Oz?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It
And we
was
don't know how long he's been there.
it was just a Judy Garland drug thing.
Yeah, drug-addled delusion. So yeah. But I tell you, I think that yeah, I definitely would have said what happened to Elmira Gulch, so that when Toto is home, everybody can be happy and not feeling that she's going to come back and do something nefarious.
Mm.
I would have liked that. Any other film that we know, there's something that would have given us a definitive ending, maybe not happy, but certainly a definitive ending.
Well, my aunt hated Alfred Hitchcock Presents because she said
Why?
because the television series,
Hmm.
because she said the ending it wasn't a complete ending. It's like the
Hmm.
cops would come in and they'll catch somebody
Hmm.
burying their spouse or something like that. But
Right. Right.
what happens after that? It's like
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So it may sound crazy, but Psycho, when the Tony Perkins character is the
Hmm.
mom or
Yes.
has become full mom,
Yes.
I would like to have seen the police interview with the mom as to exactly who was it that killed those people.
Yeah.
Was it her son or was it her?
Yeah. I thought that'd be interesting to have that. But she said she's gonna be quiet. She'd be, but she said I wouldn't hurt anybody. She wouldn't harm a fly. But I
Yeah,
think
it's
it
like
did. She did
she
talk
did
though,
say,
didn't she?
yeah, she kind of
She
said I
did
wouldn't.
talk.
Yeah, I wouldn't harm a fly,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But
I'm sorry. You sit there and see a fly
Killing and
crawling on you, and you don't move.
killing and harming are two different things. You wouldn't kill a fly, but still
You
can
sure
kill
killed some
humans.
people. Yeah, you sure did that.
That would have. You
and
always
and,
think.
and he kind of thought that his mother was kind of promiscuous, right? Because he
He
caught
calls referred to her lover. She's her
yeah. So
lover.
I want to know her side of the crazy story.
Yeah, because she was. I don't know. It was all him. I tried to stop him. It was all him. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he said,
was.
yeah, I was in bed with that traveling salesman, but
Hmm.
what a mother's gonna do?
I'm
I'm
a
not.
grown woman. I get to do stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but just that many times, Mom, okay. The
Hey.
walls are thin in this place.
Okay. You know what? You need to go all the way to the other end.
he
Or
had a
maybe
lot
the
of sam.
traveling
He had a lot of
salesman was.
samples.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say the traveling salesman might have been his real daddy.
Hey, who knows, right?
We never
Who
know.
knows?
So we don't really know. We know it's cuckoo crazy at the end, but we
Yes.
don't.
We don't know if anything. We have all these unreliable narrators in the
hmm
story. There's no one who's reliable to tell us the whole truth.
Well,
Well,
you
I
got the
Right?
suppose.
Simon
I mean, her
Oakland
crazy son and
character.
crazy
You
mom.
got the
Yeah.
you have the Simon Oakland character who says
Yes.
the cop asked, "Well, is he trying to say that he's a transvestite?" No, he's not a transvestite. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Is
So
he trying to gin up some sort of insane defense so he won't?
yeah.
No, he's
Defense.
not. You're
Say
right.
no,
Yeah.
not. He's a different person. It's multiple personality disorder. So yes, not he's not transvestic because I mean he is dressing as a woman. No, this is another whole person that's taken over, which I guess is one of the stories they had. Was it in Buffy? Remember the character who kept changing from a guy into a woman? He was a doctor. What is the name of her? She was a deity. And then she was a she's now an agent, but I can't remember the name of the deity that she played. Some very plain kind of name, like Grace or something. But remember she was changing between being a guy and being a woman.
Well, there was an episode of Albert Hitchcock Presents about this nurse who was actually, I guess, would be trans and crazy and stuff.
Oh, that
Who,
was killing people.
yeah,
I remember that one. Yeah, you didn't know that. Then it's oh no. I mean, I think they didn't do a very good job of it
I don't remember
hmm
that
because
episode. What was that?
I saw it on the new Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I don't remember seeing the old version, but I'm in
hmm
the new version. That the person they could have done better with the
What was the
person
story? I
they
don't
had.
remember.
That there was a person who was going around killing people, and the nurse who was at the house, or some other nurse was her friend, but didn't
hmm
realize that his friend that was her as a nurse was also the killer because it was a man dressed up as a nurse. But they didn't. They
Oh,
could have done so much
I
better
think it was.
when they
I don't think that was
switched
an
over.
original episode of Hitchcock, right? That was a new story.
It may have
yeah,
been because I remember seeing the new Alfred Hitchcock. I don't remember seeing it on the original stories, but it could be there. I just didn't see it.
yeah. The original. Well, it was one of those things where, in the end, that the old code about you had to the bad guy could never get away with it. They had to show
Right,
they
right.
were punished somewhere along the way or something. And also because this was the late 50s when they were not quite as comfortable with those type of things as they
Hmm.
are now. Like they're like sure they're comfortable now and everything, and so they had to make it show that the person who was doing this, they were doing it
Right,
because they didn't just have gender issues, but they were insane and homicidal too. So,
right. Yeah. So it was. Yeah,
What
I
what
remember that.
season? What season episode is that? I want to watch
I
that.
don't know. I don't. Can't tell you because I don't know if it was an original episode. I only know I saw the Alfred Hitchcock since the the new one. That's when I remember seeing it.
Mhm.
I don't remember seeing it in black and white. I remember the one I saw. I think was in color. Which one did you see? Black and white or color?
I saw the black and white one.
Okay, I didn't see that one. Maybe Cranston can scare it up. But I think
Yeah.
generally, it's like we have these films, sometimes television shows, that have these endings, and I don't want to say they're 100% unsatisfying, but they could work a little harder to make them more satisfying. But I think also, when especially when you have things like Matrix Reloaded, and you're saying, I'm gonna give it, and I'm not gonna give it a thumbs down because I think that the next film will finally answer all the questions. And when it doesn't, you're like, I must have sounded like a complete idiot saying that this film was, oh, this was really good. Because I know it's leading somewhere and it doesn't. So, I that's what I hate when you have the cliffhanger and it leads nowhere. When you're waiting for the sequel that's going to wrap it up, explain it all, and it doesn't do it. So I think that's the hardest thing. It's easier when we talk about the films that never got a sequel, where they say, "Oh yes, we're going to do it." They never did. Where you can say, okay, 5 minutes more. You didn't need a sequel. All you had to do was wrap it up. Was wrap
Mhm.
it up. Right.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
Hitchcock episode that was it was a later one. It was from 1965, and the title is "An Unlocked Window."
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
watch
got
And
it.
it's
that. Yeah.
a series.
1965, season what? 9?
Nin- this was season 3, episode 17, and it was one of the 60-minute episodes.
1965?
1965, yeah.
Episode season 3?
Season 3. Well, there was the half hour Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and then they also had some of the episodes that were done as hour-long episodes instead. So this was
Mhm.
one of the hour-long episodes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Cool. All right. Well, I see we are at the end of our time together. I will not sing the Carol Burnett song, but I'm thinking it. Um, I hope y'all have a wonderful. Number one, I hope you had a really great last week. Did we have come up with a holiday or something, or somebody did something fun? Uh, and have a really great week this coming week, and a productive week this coming week. And we'll be back again next week with more discussions from the Otherhood. So take care of yourselves, and good night.
Good night.
Good night.